I think that my book is very well written as well. I think there's very different characters and they portray them in different ways. I like how there's probably at least 24 characters, secondary characters, main characters, so I would recommend the book to others because it is a thrill and it's a suspenseful novel.
What are the main characters and the secondary characters in your book?
Okay, well in my book, which is called Lord of the Flies, the main characters are probably Ralph, Jack Merridew, and I'd say Piggy. Now, Jack Merridew, his role, what he is, Jack Merridew is a hunter. And what he does in the book is he hunts animals, he hunts pigs. He's very devoted to the hunting realm of this island that they are stranded on.
Okay.
So they're stranded on an island from the very beginning of the book. It was a plane crash, and we don't know much else about the whole incident that occurred. But we do know the other characters, so Ralph and Piggy. Ralph is the leader of the whole island. He and other youth members of the island that were saved from the plane crash, because there's no adults, you have to understand.
Okay, it's only kids?
It's only children on this island.
Oh, okay.
There's, I'd say, probably the age are from the youth to the young adolescents and the young adults, so to the teens, I'd say. So there's basically teenagers on this island and little babies and kids, and Jack Merridew is, at the beginning, he's a friend to Ralph, but we'll see that that's going to change. I'll talk to you about that later. Piggy is his role in this whole book is that Piggy is a very intellectually smart person. He's very friendly, but he gets abused by everyone else on the island. He gets bullied, I'd say. He gets made fun of. He gets called fat, and so on. So I feel bad for that character, obviously. The secondary characters now would have to be Maurice, who is Jack Merridew, the hunter. He is his assistant. I'd say he'd probably be second in command of his hunting squad. He has a squad on the island.
Okay.
Okay. And so it's basically Ralph, Piggy, some kids, and then hunters come along, and they meet up with Ralph and Piggy, and they want to join forces and try to live on the island for as long as possible.
Okay.
And another secondary character that's important in the book is Simon, who is a young teenager, and basically his role in the book is that he, midway into the novel, he goes up into this mountain that shouldn't be gone into. It's dangerous. We think there's creatures living in that island, and he goes in there anyway.
Is that all the main characters and the secondary characters?
I'd say so, yeah. A little bit, just knowledge about the other characters. They're not really so important, but we know that there are twins called Sam and Eric, and we know that there are other hunters of Jack.
Oh, okay. Now, what do you think of the book? And explain what you liked about it, and explain a bit about the book.
Okay, well, about the book, okay, so like I said, there's a plane crash, they're stranded on an island, and there's two views to this book. The first view is with Ralph, and Ralph's view is he wants to get away from the island, he wants to be rescued from the island. He does not, he likes the island, but he rather go back to his home, go back to his country, go back to his friends. Okay, and then Jack Merridew, his view of the whole thing is he wants to live in the moment of where he is now. So he wants to stay on the island and hunt.
So he likes where he is right now?
Yes, he likes where he is right now, and he wants to leave, but isn't so thrilled about it or devoted to try and save himself as Ralph is.
Okay. Now, I'd like to ask you to explain to people that haven't read the book why you would recommend they read the book, and a bit about the book, explaining what happens in the book.
Okay, so for those who haven't read this book, I strongly recommend it. The literature is fantastic. It's a suspense novel. It's very, very, very thrilling. There's a little bit of, I'd say, disturbing moments towards the end of the book, so I wouldn't recommend it to young audiences, but for, I'd say, teenagers or adults, I'd recommend it to.
Okay.
And a little bit more about the book. So so Ralph, as I said, he wants to leave the island, and what he'll do is he'll light a signal fire, and the signal fire will cause smoke to go up on the mountain, so that if there's ever a boat that's crossing by,
They'll see it.
They'll intercept the signal fire,
Okay.
and they'll try and save him. That's what Ralph and Piggy sort of planned and wanted to go through with. And also a little bit more about the book is that there is a little bit of instances where the characters are losing their minds. Like, obviously you have to think in perspective. They don't have the best quality food. They have a couple of fruit trees, maybe a couple of pigs on the island, but nothing much. So they lose their minds, and towards the end, when they lose their minds, they will turn on each other. They won't be friendly to each other. There's even going to be instances of killing. I won't say any more because you'd have to read the book and understand, but they will turn on each other eventually.
Oh, okay. And just like a rating, what would you rate the book as in all? What would you rate the book on 10?
On 10?
And the reason why?
Probably an 8.5 or to a 9. 8.5 to a 9. And the reason why, obviously, as I said before, so suspenseful. It got me thrills towards the end. However, the only thing I didn't like about the book is that it was slow. It takes time to get into the more thrilling, suspenseful, action type of thriller novel I'd like to read.
So you're saying it's not for everybody that doesn't like books that start slow?
No, it's definitely not for them, that audience. I'd say it's more for the audience that enjoys literature, enjoys to read and understand the rest of the novel.